Sam Clovis.
I am he.
You've made some news lately where
Shocking.
you had a process where you had kind of down to 5 candidates.
Right.
You are a co-chairman, I believe, of
State chair
of Governor Perry's campaign in Iowa. What was your decision process? How did you come to that?
Well, first of all, we had a tremendous field. I felt very comfortable that the Republican Party had put out a tremendous field of candidates, and I already had some affiliations and affinities to some of the candidates. Certainly Senator Rick Santorum, who's a dear friend, and I'd had a chance to get to know some of the other candidates and meet them over the course of the last couple of years. I think one of the things was, for me, I had a very strict criteria that I was looking at, and I went down that criteria, and I was able to unfortunately, people like Governor Huckabee and Senator Santorum, I love them, they're great, and I consider them, friends, but I got down to that final 5, and then I spent a lot of time looking at what they've done, what they've said, and had a chance to get to know them a little bit better. Spent a lot of time with Mr. Trump, and I've got a chance to get to know Mrs. Fiorina. And I met Senator Cruz during my Senate campaign, and Governor Jindal and Governor Perry for the same reasons. The ironic aspect of this, or one of the things, was I spent a lot of time campaigning with Governor Perry because he was so helpful to so many Republicans up here. And I think that was the fact that I got to know him so well. We have a very similar backgrounds, upbringing. Our fathers were both B-17 guys. We come from very humble surroundings and backgrounds. He went to Texas A&M. I went to the Air Force Academy. He flew C-130s, and I flew fighters, and so.
So you have the ability to kind of pick on him a little bit.
Yeah, and we do. We peck at each other. In fact, this morning he brought up the fact that he says it's too bad you had to go to that small school in Colorado because you couldn't get into A&M. And I didn't have a good counter this morning, so but. I didn't think today was the day to go after it.
Sure. So you've seen, look, you were...
It was finally an easy, I'll just say this, it was an easy decision at the end, mostly because he's a veteran and I could relate to that, and I really think that that's an important credential this election. So,
you were an early backer of Rick Santorum.
Yes.
And you saw, which is interesting because you saw kind of how long it took to go. And to for him to take root. Perry got into this race the last time. You didn't. So why Perry this time and not the last time? Because I think everyone sees kind of why you would be drawn to him. With your background and everything. But so what is the difference? Kind of this cycle versus last.
I couldn't get over it. I had seen him a couple of times in 12 in the 11, 12 cycle. And I thought, he's a good guy and he had a great record, but this time around, and because I'd spent a lot of time with him, certainly last summer, campaigning, we did, I don't know how many days we were out there, we did 6, 7 events a day together, and I had a chance to really get to know him, spend time with him, and see his people. And I think this is an important thing, is how he treated people and how he interacted with people. I saw something very special there. I had not seen a person be able to work a room like that in a long time. And the more I listened to him, the more I started to hear those echoes of Ronald Reagan.
Sure.
And I tell you, it's been really an interesting thing because I see a lot of parallels between Governor Perry and Governor Reagan.
So you're from Northwest Iowa,
right.
critical part of the state in a caucus campaign.
Particularly in a caucus.
He's spent a lot of time, the governor has, campaigning up there and across the state. What's the temperature up there? What are people? What's their mindset? What are they going through? Are they ready to commit to someone, or are they going to kick the tires for a long time? Which What's your sense of the
latter? I think it's the latter, Craig, and I think you and I have talked dozens of times about these very phenomena, and I do think that we're seeing a lot more scrutiny. People are going to sit on their hands. I think right now we have a front runner. I wouldn't say that we have, or I shouldn't say we have somebody who's ahead, not necessarily a front runner.
That's fair.
And if you take a look, we've got 12 points spread between first and 16. So I'm not exactly sure we've had a definitive breakout. And I think a lot of people are still waiting. I think we're going to wait and see on the debate. The family leader event's coming up. We've got certainly the straw poll. We'll see who plays. I do know among the activists, I've seen a lot of sentiment among the activists that you've got to play in the straw poll, or you're not going to get much help, and particularly in our neck of the woods, because it means a lot. I mean, it shows people that you care enough to Iowa to come out and do the things. The straw poll is totally structured. That's a different discussion. We'll have a different day.
Right.
But I do think that's going to be important. But I do think people they're going to wait. I think at Labor Day, maybe Thanksgiving, before we actually see a breakout.
So, anything surprise you so far in this cycle?
Yes, a couple of things. Big surprises. One is the remake. I will say first off, one of the reasons I'm with Governor Rick Perry is because of this is a different guy, and this is a guy who I see could be president. I mean, I really do. I mean, when I'm around him and I see him and I talk to him, this is a guy who could be president. And there have been a couple of others that have been really surprising. One is the affability and personality of Donald Trump. Amazing man. I've been really impressed with him. He says things the rest of us think. I think that's really important there. And I think, and finally, Mrs. Fiorina, I think she is one that has been particularly impressive. And I think the reason is because of how human she is. She is really put out there. So, and of course, Senator Cruz is he's a good philosophical conservative. Governor Jindal is a tremendous guy. I've got to know him real well, and I just so we have the surprises have been Governor Perry and then Mr. Trump and Mrs. Fiorina.
So all fighter pilots, is it required of you guys to ride motorcycles when you're in the?
You notice I'm not riding.
Okay, I was going to ask.
No. In fact, I had a long discussion about that, about this whole event, and people were trying to convince me, well, you got to get on a. I said, no. The answer is no. Watch my lips. No, I do not ride motorcycles. First off, it's not a good visual. And second, I gave up riding motorcycles 40 years ago. I've never had any luck riding them, and I just didn't want to take a chance to go out here and embarrass myself.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Sam.
You bet, Craig.
Appreciate
Thank you. Great to see you.